Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And a day of reckoning is here.
I guess.
Reckoning. Yeah, being wrecked. We're going to talk about Kotaku, a Kotaku writer.
Who happens to be a game person, game developer.
Right. Taking Critical Role to task because Critical Role is being insensitive and not inclusive enough, and it's problematic.
They're too white.
And they're too white. Yeah, we're gonna talk about this because there has been an anti-Critical Role sentiment from the very audience that Wizards of the Coast has been courting for the last few years now, and it comes down to, I believe, money.
You're right, because this article, they flat out, when we get that, we're gonna go through it. When you get to the bottom, yes, that's flat out what they bring up.
When the Twitch leak occurred last fall, and it came out that Critical Role made over $9 million over the course of 3 years with a team of like how many people?
Right, but that's just Twitch, not the other deals.
Right. And I'm sure they've got deals with Wizards and deals, whatever. Twitter lost its shit. And we did a video on that. We talked about it. It's so weird because we saw earlier this week Twitter lost its shit over Brie Larson shilling NFTs. And Twitter lost their shit when they found out how much money Critical Role made. In fact, you saw hit pieces like this on Dicebreaker that people were falling out of love with Critical Role because they were no longer relatable because they're rich.
Well, that's what this person says too.
And the weird thing about it is, where the fuck have you been? Because these are Hollywood voice actors. They've always been Hollywood voice actors. Not that Hollywood voice actors are all super rich, but they're usually doing pretty okay, right?
Right. Yeah, they were never like actually one of you to begin with.
Yeah, you're just
pissed because they make money and you found out about it.
Projected that they were just hanging out. No, there always was an end game to this, and y'all are finally starting to catch on now. Now, that being said, we actually had the pleasure of doing a panel with Matt Mercer several years ago. I'm sure he wouldn't be allowed to go anywhere near us now, but
he probably doesn't remember.
He probably doesn't
Cards
remember.
Against Humanity. It was fun.
Yeah. He was a nice guy.
He was
okay.
very nice.
Yeah.
He was very nice. We had a good time.
So we're not dunking on him in this video, but we're going to dunk on this Kotaku writer because this once again shows you if you court this audience, they will always turn on you.
What we're going to dunk on is what's behind this whole thing, the entitlement mentality. And the entitlement mentality basically is you've gotten big, you've got something that's big that I want, and because I'm me, I should be given that platform, or me and my friends should be given that platform because you are the wrong kind of person. And even though you built it and you earned it and it's yours, it is somehow owed to me because of who I am.
Yeah, and there's a lot of this in media right now, a lot of fandoms, especially of like, I was a fan and I'm the right kind of person and you need to just, quit. And if you don't quit voluntarily, they'll find a way to push your ass out. So I'm waiting for Critical Role Gate to happen here.
Oh, where they get rid of half the cast.
Where they get rid of half the cast, yep.
Here's the kicker, though. If people have tuned in, and it's been built up by these people, and they've been tuning in to watch these people for years, if you suddenly just change them all to make it look like you, that doesn't mean that you're interesting enough that people want to watch it. It doesn't mean that you're going to keep that audience, or you're going to get a bigger audience. It may mean that, but most likely it doesn't. Yeah. It's like the soap opera scenario I've mentioned before, where the idea these psychopaths and soap operas have is they're not with me, but if I kill the person they're with, they're suddenly going to love me instead. But they're not, because it doesn't work that way.
So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 256,000 subs. Yay! Thank you for the support. No, we do not have as many subs as Critical Role. No, we do not make as much money as Critical Role. And we've talked a lot more about tabletop gaming lately because I've noticed how freaking weird D&D has gotten, and in particular 5e. And a lot of it, I can trace back to them courting the Tumblr audience that adopted Critical Role. I'm not blaming Critical Role per se, but the audience that has been cultivated has fundamentally changed the fandom.
It's fundamentally changed everything.
Yeah.
Basically, by fundamentally changing the fandom, you mean anybody who we don't like, we push out.
Yes.
We could claim we want diversity and inclusion, but what we really mean is just us and our friends, and everybody else has to leave.
Yeah, and this never ends well for people. When you court this audience, as Brie Larson is finding out, they invariably turn on you.
Because they feel that because they defended you, that you owe them. You have to be everything they want you to be. all the time. But like the audience about gaming and stuff, what's funny is things like the gaming and like She-Ra and stuff like that, the audiences were always very inclusive and very accepting. And you know, it was always like you'd take whoever because you want people to play with it. It was like, yeah, everybody's welcome. And that's what it used to be. So they keep trying to spin this narrative of it's exclusionary. But what they actually mean is they want to be the ones who make it exclusionary.
Yeah. Yeah, and now, you know, it's coming up again because Vox Machina, the animated series, is out, and that's all.
They're pissed about that.
$12 million on Kickstarter. They're pissed about that. It's an Amazon thing, and I've actually heard people say it's actually pretty good. I haven't seen it yet.
I'm sure they're making money because it got picked up and they're getting paid again.
How dare they make money?
You're not allowed. Well, no, it's okay if they make the money, just not these people.
I
They're supposed to just hand it over to them because they're them.
You're not broke ass socialists. I can't relate to you anymore.
Well, that's what this entitlement mentality is. It's just basically it's a socialism and the idea that everybody else earned it, but they should give it to me because I want it, and you know, I should be the one that gets it.
Yeah, and what they'll do is they'll find a way to take it. You know, and we've seen this. I mean,
but they'll ruin it by that, and no one will care.
Well, look at Gen Con. Gen Con, you know, has been blacklisting people for the last couple of years now, just for saying
insane reasons.
And then, you know, the people running the con, like they're doing YouTube videos and they're talking about the history of tabletop gaming, and they can't pronounce Gary Gygax's name. They don't know anything about him, and he's the guy who started the con.
You're expecting these people to know something more than what Twitter told them.
Yeah, so
how silly of you.
Let's dive into this. This is Kotaku. I really, really hope, Wizards of the Coast, if you're listening to this, I doubt you are, but if you are, that you're not spending lots and lots of money advertising on Kotaku, because this is what happens.
Well, take notes. We told you this is going to happen.
Absolutely. We've been telling you for years, and we were called bigots and haters. So here we go.
This is great. Just hold on.
Jenna Yao for Kotaku. In early fall, the hugely successful D&D actual play series Critical Role announced plans for their third campaign set in the fictionalized world of Marquette.
Remember, fictionalized world. It means it's not real.
World.
Okay.
While the campaign would draw inspiration from real-life Swana, now this is a term I am not familiar with, Southwest Asian / North African cultures, the group would work together with sensitivity consultants to craft a fantasy continent free of appropriation. Dungeon Master Matt Mercer, rich white guy, said in a blog post, Mercer sounds earnest enough, and it's nice to see them be proactive about hiring consultants right off the bat instead of waiting to be called out on a misstep. That's my job. So why are some people so mad at them,
why
including
me? Why are people so mad at them? Why am I pissed and me and my friends are mad? That's what this is about. Some people meaning her.
When the campaign was revealed, the criticism from the tabletop role-playing game sphere and from Swana creators like myself boiled down to Critical Role making a financial killing off the aesthetics and cultures not represented in the actual cast makeup of the show.
You mean with their imaginary world?
Their fictitious characters. I am not an elf in real life.
No, they made it. So how dare they? Yeah, which is made up entirely of white people, save for a few guest member or for a new guest member.
There's also a healthy amount of apprehension as to how respectfully this world was being done.
How respectfully this world that's not real.
After the campaign was announced in October, critical attention gradually ebbed away as the discourse wheel continued to turn, as I fumed about it for many more months. But on December 10th, Critical Role released the intro sequence for their third campaign, or dramatic music video that cuts between cast members at the table and themselves in costumes, exploring an unseen fantasy.
Right, not real.
Fantasy environment. It happens to be an innocuous, silly video where the cast members sing, make over-the-top expressions, and roll dice in intense slow-mo. And the problem is, but the overlying aesthetic is what plays the critical role in the rendition of this discussion.
Wait, it gets better.
The attire might seem inspired by franchises such as Uncharted, The Mummy, and Indiana Jones, and the classic adventure serials that influence those stories. Those are charged colonialist stories for people of color. Indiana Jones is a colonialist story. Yet these costumes,
and genocide.
These costumes are functionally harmless as anything is on a purely aesthetic level.
Then why are you pissed?
Why are you so pissed off?
They tell you.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
But they speak to a legacy of disregard and disrespect to colonized cultures, often robbed literally of their material heritage and ancestry by the outside explorer who represents a larger power structure. I'm pissed Because I didn't get invited to take part in this and be one of your sensitivity readers. I mean, I'm pissed because you're putting people in costumes that represent colonizers, and no, it's an imaginary world, but no, it means that they're colonizing me.
So they're treasure hunters. So we're doing the Indiana Jones thing, which I think is kind of interesting for D&D. Right?
Well, what they expect to happen with this? They're doing an Indiana Jones thing. They're just playing right into this whole narrative.
Who gets to be short round?
No, nobody, because that's part of the problem.
That's part of the problem. Removing the artifacts from their homeland to be displayed elsewhere also suggests that the people of these cultures are incapable of being responsible for the preservation of their own history.
What are you,
You're
sitting around all
stealing
day?
from dead people.
And you just think of things to be pissed about so you can write an article?
Rather than dressing as characters that reside in the world they've created, they're instead dressed like colonial explorers of the 19th and 20th centuries.
Okay, wait. So, wait.
Dressing as
They're
Europeans.
pissed because in this game, even though it's a fantasy world, they're mad because it's actually them, and it's supposed to be based on them in the real world. And then they complain that they're wearing costumes. So it's like a double standard.
But aren't they staying in their lane? A bunch of white people dressing like colonizers?
How dare they?
Dressing like Europeans? With a lantern in hand and to help dispel the fog, they're fully embracing their roles as voyeurs. They are cementing their perspective as that of the outsider, even in fantasy. Despite being the defining publication of an entire field of literary, artistic, and academic criticism, Orientalism famously... Orientalism, I'm having a hard time speaking tonight. Orientalism famously fails to account for the multi-million-dollar earning critical. What the fuck?
You're canceled now because you used the word, or you said Orientalism wrong. But even though this book was published in 1978.
What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking? Like, this book didn't cover Critical Role. This book that was written 40 years ago doesn't talk about this present year YouTube Twitch series. What the fuck?
That's the voice you use for a dog.
What the fuck is this shit? Yeah, okay, so our dog, when he has this confused look on his face, he's like, what the shits? What the fuck is that? What is that? Can I have some?
Oh, you can't say that because now they're going to say you're making fun of your Orientalism.
I'm not! Fuck off!
You're just making fun of stupidity.
This is a dumb article, and this is all about, look, this is all about...
It gets better.
This is all about sour grapes. This is the audience you cultivated, Wizards of the Coast. You've spent the last 5 or 6 years cultivating the Tumblr crowd. And what are they doing now?
They all feel they're owed.
Yeah, they all feel like they're owed something because you've made them feel very special because every time they complain about something, you cave. Oh my God, the orcs are racist. Oh my God, we better write a whole book to address the orcs being racist because we don't want people to think we're racist.
It's like every time someone feels like they aren't represented enough, they yell to get what they want.
And now here they are going to a media outlet and taking a shit on your biggest mouthpiece. In your biggest mouthpiece. Mouth.
Pretty much. They said Orientalism is a concept describing the Western view of the colonized world, specifically the Orient, referring to Asia and North Africa. A funny thing, genetically, I am actually from North Africa.
That is true.
So how dare they? No. It's a method of literary and artistic analysis of work made by the West that portray the Orient frequently from a viewpoint that exoticizes the region and its cultures to create a colonial fantasy.
Is this a college paper?
The West wielding imperial, well, they get paid by the word. The West wielding imperial power over the Orient, blah, blah, blah. One of the core concepts is a field of study, and scholars from the West, and Marquette is not exempt from the world building on warped foundation. And it's like a funhouse mirror of our culture.
There's no fun in this art. This is like, seriously, this is the kind of shit that used to get posted on Tumblr all the time. You chase this audience, Wizards. What the fuck?
This may seem like an overly cynical and bad faith interpretation.
It is!
Because it is!
Because it's stupid!
Of what Critical Role is doing in a new campaign. But real, respectful depictions of the Arab world and Swana cultures are few and far between. Well, then go make one!
Here we go.
And we aren't the ones who have the resources to tell our stories yet. Bullshit! You're out there screaming enough.
This is what it's about,
They
guys.
didn't either. You have to start somewhere. Most people don't have the resources. They have to go build something. We're hired to help white creators avoid mistakes, except you're mad because you weren't hired, to absolve them of guilt and shield them from criticism and feel grateful when we're allowed behind the curtain. Translation, I'm fucking pissed because they should all have been kicked out. And me and my friends should have been given the platform they built on Critical Role to make it about us because we're the actual cultures being represented in this fictional world. So they go and hire sensitivity readers and do everything they can to try to be, make sure they're inclusive. But that's not good enough. You're supposed to give them your platform that you've built because they're them and that's not fair. They're owed it. And they even said it. They go down here. Oh, they go on and on.
Consultants have helped shape the world, but they will not be the ones to guide us through it.
And then they keep going down, and they go on and on. There's all kinds of...
It's just a game.
Yeah, those are just a game. Simultaneously chastising critics for overreacting and watering down the reality of what Critical Role actually is. Each episode opens with Matt Mercer welcoming the audience and referring to himself as his castmates as a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors. But here it is. It's never just a game, especially not with Critical Role. These are inordinately wealthy people who have branded themselves into relatable characters who play tabletop games like everything else. And it goes on about the money. And
my God.
So at the end of the day, this whole thing, I'm salty because you did a campaign that has characters in a fantasy world that I feel are representative of myself. And because it's representative of myself, me and my people, because I'm a game person myself, should have been the ones that got put on the platform instead of the white people, because they're just colonizers.
Needless to say, there's a lot of money being made here. Despite the impression they strive to give off to their audience, Critical Role is undeniably a franchise before it is a group of friends.
No shit!
Now they're talking about
how... Oh my God, they keep going?
Yeah, they're talking about how they're angry that
dissertation.
Wizards of the Coast will probably make modules based on this world. How dare they? It's no exaggeration to say that the show wields an immense amount of influence over the D&D community as a whole. Yeah, now. And that's... For old school gamers like myself, that's a problem because you appropriated our scene.
It's only appropriation when you take it from her or them or whoever the heck they are. I think they said they're non-binary. I don't even know.
I don't care. I don't care. Assholes come in all the colors of the rainbow.
And all the genders.
All the genders. With a platform as large as theirs, the members of Critical Role must understand every action they take is one that will echo and reverberate across their fans and tabletop communities as a whole. Oh, that's no pressure. The Critical Role team has a responsibility to acknowledge the colonial origin of exploration aesthetics they perpetrate, and if they're as devoted to doing good as they insist, a responsibility to dismantle their legacy.
So they're supposed to take their show down and just tear it apart because it makes them happy, so that there's room for them to move up and take over.
What the actual fuck? You can't act as a company, but expect to be forgiven like a person. If content creators like the members of Critical Role continue to profit, they have to understand they will become beholden to public opinion. This is a threat. This is a fucking threat. Mm-hmm. Wizards of the Coast, if you are listening, you need to stop catering to these people.
It's basically it's not me. I'm not profiting. I am not profiting off this. So they should stop because I'm not profiting.
Material wealth has material consequences.
Socialism.
It's no longer just a group of friends. It was never just a game.
It never was with this. It was a show. And you know what? It was a group of friends playing a game before y'all came in and told everybody else they weren't allowed to be part of it with this bullshit like these comments on here. And here was something else. When you're talking about marginalizing people or whatever, and I get what you're saying. However, you cannot ever represent everybody. And a lot of times, by representing one group, you actually go and marginalize another. So that's constantly going to happen no matter what.
The beautiful thing about role-playing games is
you can do whatever you want it to be.
You can do whatever you want to do. I mean, I think there should be basic rules, but if you want to tailor your own personal campaign for your group, and you want to, you're more than welcome to do that. You've always been welcome to do that.
But that's it. You're always welcome. But now you're not welcome unless they say, like the whole idea is we want a table. We want to bring more chairs to the table. No, you don't. You're proving this. You're proving this with this article. It's not about bringing more chairs to the table. It's about taking chairs away from certain people to throw them out of the warm chair and stick your own ass in it. That's what it's about.
This is, look, this
Entitlement mentality.
This last month, especially, we have seen so many people that were adored by the Tumblr, Twitter crowd on the receiving end of backlash, because it's like, we've been telling you guys, people keep saying, oh, you're a bunch of whiners, you YouTubers, you're a bunch of whiners. It's like, no, we've been pointing this out. Like, these people will fucking eat you alive. They will destroy your business. They will turn on you as soon as you do something they don't like. And
they're proving it.
You're proving
us right every time you open your mouth.
They're going to destroy or attempt to destroy Critical Role. They've been harping on them since the money came out. Like, how much money? Just do the basic math. You see the chats that come through. You see the number of views they get.
I was going to say, though, if they're basically like, well, you're white people, so you need to stop these stereotypes or stay in your own lane. But if they stay in their own lane, then you're not diverse enough. How dare you not be representative to everybody else?
Oh, now they're trying to dismantle Tolkien, too. They're like, Tolkien is inherently racist and all the European imagery.
So when they go and do their changes to it, no one's going to like it. No one's going to watch it. No one's going to care. Everybody's going to mock it and make fun of it. And then you're going to tell everybody else they're istophobic.
Yeah.
You know what? I was like, make your own thing. Oh, wait, no, because we don't have the money. You know what? A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't start out having the money. They have to build it up. So maybe if you spend as much time out there trying to, I know you're working on games of your own, maybe you spend as much time going out there and trying to get a platform for your own shit as you do writing a dissertation about everybody else. You might be in the public eye a little bit more and you might have gotten further ahead.
Yeah. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. We're seeing more and more shit like this, especially from sites like Polygon and Kotaku. I mean, hell, they're giving a free PlayStation 5 and they turned into some anti-Trump rant and they're like, I'm too depressed about the state of the world to play video games right now.
Well, this one's pretty good. So a solution. Sounds like you don't want them to explore these cultural identifiers and they explore genre tropes. Should half the cast be fired and people you find approve be playing the game?
Yeah.
Her and her friends.
Yeah.
I mean, damn, this just feels like another example of well-intentioned people trying to make a diverse content and doing it right. And according to you, they never will.
No.
You never can pass this test.
You will never. The goalpost is always moved. Always. Mm-hmm. Always.
You can go and do everything right. You can hire every sensitivity reader ever. You can go through, you could have like every person of that culture you can find come in and give you, their opinion. You hang out with them. You make sure it's as authentic as it can be. It's never enough because this person, you need to get rid of half your people. And then if you do that, well, now you need to get rid of all your people. It's never enough. You're never going to succeed in pleasing people. And when you do that for one group, you're alienating whole other groups.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. This is what we talk about a lot on this channel is that, like, at some point you have to be like, I may not get my way 100%, but there's something to be said for trying, right? There's something to be said like, yeah, we're trying to be more inclusive. We're trying to be more diverse. It's not good enough because it's not me. Right, because we don't see
ourselves. Yeah, I want to have a conversation about this. I want to be open to your fair criticism, but it also sucks to know that there are decent folks making decent content that will never measure up to your standards. It also means that again, decent progressive folks are bickering amongst each other in the general zeitgeist. And if that really dangerous conversation, conservatives.
The dangerous conservatives
had their way. All of us, we progressive, I mean, more than a back foot.
I don't know. Look, here's the thing: conservatives don't have to do shit. Like, progressives are destroying themselves, and this is this is why we kind of jump ship from the Democrats, because it's like we're seeing, not to make it political, but this is the kind of nonsense that's actually pushing people away. Like, people will be more inclined to listen to people's concerns about cultural appropriation or portraying certain kinds of characters in more positive light, whatever, if it wasn't so batshit crazy how they were just immediately dogpiled and attacked. This was a very, very bad way to make what might be in your mind a good point. It might even be a valid point. But this whole article was a hit piece on Critical Role. The whole thing. Yeah,
it was basically we're going to use this as a leverage point to try to create a fissure. Yeah. Because, we're pissed. We're mad because we didn't get the money. And we're mad they have money. And we're just mad. And we're mad because we should be given that platform because we're a marginalized creator. Which marginalized group should get the platform? Because there's a bunch of them out there. A bunch of really niche groups out there who think they should have that platform. So while you're demanding it for you, there's probably 10 or 20 other groups who demand it that should be for them. It's ridiculous. They were trying to do something good. They were trying to you could have used this as great, they're doing this world that's like this. Since it's popular now, let's use that to our advantage with our own stuff and saying, like Critical Role. Come over here. We're the creators. They're, that actually this is our culture. And here's a game we have based on our culture. You could have leveraged this to your benefit.
But now you just look like a
salty bitch.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, this is look. This has to change. These companies have been chasing this audience thinking that this is the way to go for years. And yeah, D&D blew up last year with the pandemic. I read that Wizards of the Coast made like $1 billion off of D&D. I've also read that they're thinking about selling.
We've read that for a while.
That Hasbro's been going to sell them off, and they're going to sell them high, But this is just fucking nuts. It's just nuts.
I mean, even if you had a point, basically, I think at the end of the day, it's like, I want to see more people of color on.
Okay.
And the game.
Then just say that. Why do you have to write a 19 paragraph?
Who are you going to vote off? I mean,
well, that's what they're saying. They're like,
who has to be fired because to make room for for other people. And again, just because you hire people there to do that doesn't mean that they're going to be entertaining. Doesn't mean they're going to mesh with the group. Doesn't mean it's going to work with that show.
Well, they said, yeah, it's not directly linked. They're talking about how there aren't very many POCs on the show, but they said the Critical Role main cast is the main draw, so it behooves them to give the fans and viewers what they want, which is the main cast, who are all white, but the desire to diversify the show, which they do on occasion. Yeah, is seen as not enough because of the setting as a place that uses cultural consultants, but is not reflected in the casting. I don't know if they can fix it beyond recasting the show. What are you supposed to do
every season when you do a different culture? You recast the show?
Yes.
But that's not going to work. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
What is going to happen is you're going to lose your audience because people are watching this group. And that could be what happened. I mean, this could wind up being like, well, you know what? Yeah, I think we need to hire, just hire a new dungeon master, Matt. Sorry, you're too rich and too white and you got to go.
Do you think, and then to get rid of people that people like, and then they're going to bring new people in that they don't even know, or and they're not even going to give them a chance, because they're going to be like, why'd you get rid of my favorite people to put this person in?
Yep.
It doesn't matter how much you call them istophobes for they're not going to. They don't have to. They don't owe you their money. They don't owe you their eyeballs. You got this audience based on these people and their hard work and their relationship with their viewers. You don't get to just switch it out on Twitch just because you say so.
Yeah, so I mean, this is like, and we've been critical of not Critical Role per se, but the audience, and this is exactly why.
And it's again like G4. You can have a point, but you do it in such a shitty way that you just turn everybody off to it.
Yeah, so good luck with that.
Congrats.
I have a very strong feeling, given the amount of salt that has been building because of the amount of money that these guys make. I have a very strong feeling that right now there are groups of people probably pouring through every damn thing they've ever said, everything they've ever tweeted, looking for dirt. I would not be shocked at all. And again, we like Matt Mercer, but I wouldn't be shocked at all if they dug up some stupid post from 15 years ago to try to get him canceled.
Oh my God, he played Cards Against Humanity with the what were they called? White nationalists. Clownfish TV.
Clownfish TV.
Even though we're not.
8 years ago. Yeah. So yeah, this is exactly how it starts. This is how it starts. This is the tip of the iceberg. It starts on Twitter. They complain on Twitter, and then they go to the media, and it usually starts with some grumbling on Tumblr, whatever. And then eventually it hits Kotaku, and next thing you know, it's going to be on bigger websites, like Variety's highlighting them. So they're like, oh my God, look at those rich white people.
Well, maybe what the solution is that you have Wizards of the Coast go and start a whole nother team.
There you go.
That's all the representation of everyone ever. And that so you can't complain, and let them go out and start their own campaigns and then put the money behind that to build it up, so you have both going on. Then it's a win for those who like these kind of shows. So there's two.
Let the market decide.
And let give there you go. There's your solution.
That won't be good enough. No. It's never enough.
No, you have to get rid of them first, so they're the only ones.
It's never enough. Yeah, and we've seen this time and time and time again, and we're going to continue to see it because this is how it works.
They want a Highlander it, but they want somebody else to cut the heads off because they can't do it themselves. But that's okay. You just hand them the power afterwards.
There you go. Just hand
it. Them.
Hand it over to them. All right, we're gonna wrap it up.
Uh-huh.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.